Right, getting straight back to that breaking news out of London. It is that the High Court has ruled the British government's decision to ban Palestine Action group was unlawful. Let's speak to Rory Challands about this. Tell us about this, really, because it is the co-founder, Huda Amori, who won this challenge, overthrowing the ban of the organisation being designated a terror group.
Absolutely, yeah. There have been big cheers from the protesters gathered outside the Royal Courts of Justice here in London as that news filtered out from inside the courtroom that Huda Amori, as you say, has won this challenge to the government's decision to prescribe Palestine Action as a terrorist organisation. This was called a judicial review. It was basically looking at whether the government has behaved lawfully in making that decision and pushing it very quickly through Parliament last year in the aftermath of a direct action protest at a UK airbase run by the Americans, etc., that damaged some planes. Now, the High Court has ruled that Palestine Action Group, the ban stays in place for the moment pending an appeals process. But this is a big step for the protesters here, for Huda Amori, in trying to overturn that decision from the government. What it means, well, we can talk about that in a bit, but essentially we have... carry on.
Rory, I was just going to ask you what the ruling means in a wider context here. What does it mean for freedom of speech?
Well, it's a big deal for how a UK government goes about dealing with organisations, protest organisations, that it doesn't like, that it sees as problematic. What this decision is likely to mean is that the government's going to have to be very careful about trying to do what it did with Palestine Action. Essentially, the court has decided on two of the legal grounds that it was considering, two of the four legal grounds, that the government essentially overstepped its legal boundaries, that it didn't go through the right procedures, it didn't engage in the right consultations, it didn't act proportionately. We don't know exactly which of two of the four that the court decided that the government had overstepped its boundaries. The details are going to be coming out in the next few minutes. But certainly the court decided that the government did do that. It basically acted unlawfully. This case was less about whether Palestine Action itself is a problematic organisation and more about the government and whether it acted legally, or whether it went through the right processes, and it has decided on balance that it didn't.
Rory, thank you so much. Rory Challands there, joining us outside the UK High Court with that ruling coming through. The High Court calling the government's ban on this Palestinian group, actually overturning it, but it does stay in place until, of course, we have the appeals process gone through.